So do you like your job?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Yeah. What do you like about it?
Actually, when I first came to Anchorage, I realized that college savvy really need me.
Yeah, they really do need you. Magic's a great guy. When I first met Patrick and his family, they came to the Ark after moving up from Valdez, and they were asking about support for employment. So I contacted the Car Safeway and talked with the HR directors there and set him up for an interview. I had a wonderfully trained employment specialist that went with him to his interview. She came back and said that the store manager and the HR person really loved Patrick. He was very animated, and they wanted him to start immediately.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world.
When we found out we were pregnant, we were pretty excited, to say the least.
You can't see, I'll be the light to guide you.
I know Kim didn't ever think that he was going to have babies, and I was 39 years old. I didn't think I'd be having any children. So it was really a surprise and happy. There were 3 doctors in the room when he was born, and they could not agree on whether or not he was a child with Down syndrome. Children with Down syndrome don't come out with 10s on their APGARs.
The genetic test came back positive for Down syndrome. We knew right away that he was a child with special needs, and he would be a child with special needs. And one of the things that was quite important to realize at that point was we would always have to be taking care of Patrick. He would always be childlike.
It wasn't hard as far as doing things for him. What was hard was thinking about what was going to happen to him.
Hi, little boy.
One thing I remember that got me very emotional was watching a TV program. And there were people on that program who had Down syndrome who had a vocabulary of maybe 6 words. And so I basically sobbed myself to sleep that night, thinking I would never be able to converse with my son.
Cat monsters on the sidewalk.
When he was in the primary grades all the way up to 3rd and 4th grade, he was reading on target. He was holding conversations. He was one of the most popular kids in the class. It stopped.
Especially in junior high, you know, as the other kids are going through puberty and their brains are becoming able to comprehend more adult-like topics, Patrick was not.
I was angry a lot of the times. The question they always asked was, so how is Pat's social life here in school, remember? And because I'm an educator, I understand what they were saying, but as a mother, I wanted to get up and scream. He has no friends. Nobody talks to him.
We were in junior high, and I must have been in 8th grade, and he would have been in 7th grade, and I get pulled out of class, and I thought I was in trouble, and they're like, Molly, you need to go to the office, and I was like, oh, what did I do? Like, I was a good kid. I didn't get in trouble, but I, got anxiety about what was going on, and we go towards the gym, and Pat is sitting on the top of the bleachers, and he will not come down for any of his teachers, and he will only come down for me. And he's sitting there saying that he will only come down for Molly. And so I go in there and I go up and sit next to him, and then he was like, oh, fine with it. He came down and we shot baskets for a little bit, and I went back to class.
They have been together in a sense since they were in daycare. And Molly just doesn't like injustice very much. And she has gone up against teachers and administrators. Just recently, Molly and he went out to a movie together, but Molly has very strict rules. It cannot be a horror film, of course.
Patrick, dance with Molly.
He did great moving up here, and that was a big transition, living in Valdez his whole life and then moving to Anchorage. And he loves going to ARC. He loves going to play basketball for Special O. Like, he loves going to work. As long as he's able to do all those things, I think that he's gonna live a long and happy life.
We looked at Anchorage and we saw all kinds of different service providers, and we decided ARC was the best service provider. It had housing, job, mentoring, coaching. The most important thing for us was the recreation program. And when we first drove into the ARC, and you see all the facilities, it's quite impressive.
And our first meeting with them, I said, you know, we're older, and I'm afraid that when we die, you know, who's going to take care of my baby? And she broke into tears, and she said, that's what we're here for. We already love him, and we will take care of him. We promise. And then Pat grabbed us and said, well, I'm not going anywhere.
Well, it's like, it was funny because Danny Parrish, you know, looked at Pat and he says, well, you know, you want to move out of, you know, your parents, right? You want to move into a group home, don't you? And he's like, no. In Anchorage, he does something basically every day that has some structure. He works, or he goes to church. He's always got something to do basically just about every single day. So that provides him with some comfort and a routine that I think he really appreciates.
This job gives Patrick first an income, a sense of a community.
Hello, Tyler. How are you today?
Oh, you're working?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, Pat.
How are you today?
He's got customers that come in more often than they need to say hi and to shop. Where they could shop once a week, they shop twice or 3 times a week.
And you, ladies? Have a nice day, man. You bless you.
The job gives him a lot of self-satisfaction, I believe, and a lot of camaraderie with his coworkers and a sense of worth.
Shall we?
He can do this job. He can do this job well. He gets paid to do this job. So he's not just totally dependent upon the government or his parents. He has his own money. It's not a lot, but still, it's his money.
Pat, you gotta sign this one.
He and I go to the bank and we cash his checks, or we put his checks in his savings account. At the same time, he gets some cash. And that makes him feel good too.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
So it's just part of the process of being a member of the community because people work in the community.
You're going to sing to me today? I'm waiting. Give me something good. Bruno Mars? You got any Bruno Mars?
If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't
I'm really afraid that no one will take care of him. Kim came up with an idea.
Because I've seen this with other ARC parents.
find out what we're made of.
And what they do is they basically leave the house to ARC so it can become a group home. So we're really considering that as a very strong possibility, leaving the house to ARC with provisos for Pat to remain in the house because he really loves the house. It would just ease the transition after we're gone.
And you'll be there. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me,
I guess a big thing is we trust ARC. I mean, and
for
Pat
Pat,
loves
with
going
Pat.
there. Cannot wait to go to interact.
It's a group.
For some reason that plan weren't to follow through, we still know that we're going to leave ARC with the care of our child.
2, 3, I'll be there.
He's always talking to people there. It's just a very fundamental part of his life experience now.
Yeah.
And it's a good one.
And you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.